I've lived in Orlando for almost 2 years now, and it's been absolutely amazing. I've been to every major theme park in the area multiple times, and I've eaten at some of the most iconic themed locations in the world. But there's one theme park staple that I've yet to experience despite having it on my bucket list for many years, even before I moved down to Orlando. And that is eating at Epcot's premier dining location, Space 220. But all of that changes tonight. Now, getting a reservation at Space 220 is kind of like getting front row on Hagrid's. It's doable, you try enough times and you're bound to get there eventually, but it's never guaranteed. There's no real way to guarantee it. See, Space 220, like everything at Walt Disney World, is one of the most in-demand restaurants in the entire city of Orlando. And for what I thought was good reason, but we'll get to that later. But really, there was nothing for months and months and months. So one day, back on November 15th of 2024, I happened to just be randomly searching for a Space 220 reservation, and there was one for tonight, January 10th, 2025. Yeah, but the day is finally here. I'm ready to experience what some people have told me is the best food in any theme park ever, and what others have told me is the most overrated garbage restaurant, and that I'm better off going to Planet Hollywood in Disney Springs if I want to see stars. All the puns intended. The latter is a concerning opinion considering that Space 220 is a prefix menu and it starts at around $80 per person. And we're about to find out if it's worth the time, effort, and money in 2025. Let's find out. All right, we made it over to Epcot where things are gearing up for the International Festival of Arts in a few weeks here. They had the Run Disney Marathon this morning. I thought it was going to be a lot busier than it actually is, but it's actually not too bad. Look at all this wide open space, which you haven't seen at Epcot in months. As a kid, I used to think Epcot was pretty boring. As an adult, I think it's the best Disney park out there. Of course, you can't come to Epcot and not ride Journey into Imagination with the boy Figment. Last time I came to Epcot, I actually found Space 220 by a complete accident, going to Mission Space and seeing it on the right side there. I had no idea that's where the restaurant was. I'd always kind of wondered where it was, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Real quick, let me just read exactly what Disney says it is. We all know Disney fluffs things up, but let's see. Embark on this ultimate culinary exploration from this new expansion of the Mission Space Pavilion. Step inside Space 220 restaurant featuring a celestial panorama from a space station for a delicious meal. To begin your journey aboard a special space elevator that will send you to the stars, and along the way, viewports will give you an aerial view of Epcot as you travel high above the planet, as you dine, peer out, and enjoy amazing daytime and nighttime views of Earth from 220 miles up. So I guess that's where the 220 comes. It makes sense. Our reservation's in about 25 minutes, so we're gonna head over there, make sure we're all situated, make sure we actually get a table. Doesn't seem too busy, so I think we'll be fine, and see you inside. All right, so for a drink, I got the Up All Night, which is absolute vanilla, chilled espresso, Kahlua, cream de cacao. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't know about the best I've ever had. All right, and the other drink is the Starship Lemonade, which is strawberry, watermelon lemonade, a glow cube, and the trading cards, which are actually pretty cool. That tastes like a freckle lemonade from Red Robin. That's exactly what that is. Neptuna tartare, bluefin tuna, wasabi avocado, pineapple, mango, and penny puri. The tartare is delicious. The avocado is kind of spicy, obviously, because it's wasabi dipped in the mango. Sweet, spicy, works well together. It's really good. Andromeda Wagyu beef, carpaccio Wagyu beef, pomegranate seeds, potato chips, truffle, cipriani sauce, shaved parm. Carpaccio is like a weird combination of sweet and salty. It's delicious. I think I like the tuna better. All right, so with the 8-ounce filet mignon, it is certified Angus beef, creamy mashed potatoes, red wine reduction. The filet is cooked perfectly, as for medium rare. It melts in your mouth. The mash is great. Green beans are crispy. Parsnip's delicious. The galactic miso salmon is miso glazed salmon, sauteed leeks, tempura, fried mushrooms, or curry blood orange is what it is. That's what the sauce is. The salmon, as far as salmon goes, cooked perfectly. I don't think the tempura mushrooms really need to exist. I mean, it's interesting. The texture's a little weird. Tastes good, like mushrooms do, but it's kind of a little bit extra on the side. The salmon, I think, as fish, is cooked as perfect as possible. But I think if you were to compare the two, or to choose one, I think I would have rather had the salmon, but the steak is still delicious. The restaurant is nearly empty now, because we were the last reservation of the night. So the Cosmic Cheesecake is chocolate cheesecake, chocolate crumbs, raspberry gel, and a chocolate dome that looks like the Earth. kind of cracks apart. Looks delicious. The cheesecake is very mousse-like. It's very crumbly, I guess. It's different. It's heavy. That's going to be hard to finish after an appetizer and an 8-ounce fillet. It's delicious though. Everything so far has been really good. And the Capella is maple mousse, orange curd, cranberry orange, blondie, and chai cream. I'm not a huge fan of fruity desserts, but the Capella with the maple and the orange, this is actually probably one of the best fruit-based desserts I've ever had. And that's saying something, because I usually hate them. We've touched back down to earth. Is it worth it in 2025?
All right, so here's the final verdict on Space 220. It's an experience, and that's what you're paying for. From the space elevator to, frankly, the jaw-dropping visuals as you walk into the actual dining hall, the immersion. It's an immersive atmosphere, or lack of atmosphere, I suppose. It's one of those restaurants that it genuinely feels like you're stepping into the story, even though there isn't much of a story that I was able to discern. Maybe there's some more lore with the trading cards. I haven't really looked too deeply into them, but let me know if that's the case. It feels like you're stepping into another world, or out of this world, if that's how you want to define it. I genuinely think it's one of the most unique dining spots, not only in Walt Disney World or any theme park, but possibly anywhere in the world. It's just very unique and different. But of course, we have to talk about food. It is a dining spot after all. It's an attraction, but it's a restaurant, and an expensive one at that. So is the food quality actually worth it? You know, since it launched in 2021, the menu has definitely evolved. They've added new options. They've improved presentation. You know, for example, the cake that we got here is what it looked like back in 2021. And you already saw it in the video, but here is what it looks like now. I think it looks a lot better. I think they put in some noticeable effort to improve the quality of the food from what I've heard from people who have tried it in the past. But just looking at the presentation alone, it's apparent. It's there. You know, dishes like the salmon, like the carpaccio, they really stand out as unique dishes that you don't really expect to find at Walt Disney World, but they're delicious. And the plating is as creative as the setting itself. You know, that said, of course, something like this, it's about the ambiance, it's about the experience more than the food itself, right? It's not a Michelin star restaurant. The food is solid, right? It's great. It's some of the best food that I've had at Disney World, I would say, as far as quality goes. But it's close in comparison to some of the less pricey options out there at Epcot. So it's something to take into consideration. You know, the food itself, the quality of the food and the flavors are not really going to blow your mind in the same way that the experience, the atmosphere of the restaurant does. That's something important that I think you should think about when trying to decide whether or not you want to eat at Space 220 or not. So, altogether, is it worth the price in 2025? Is it worth that $250 price tag? The answer is, I know you're going to hate this, it depends on you, on your experience, on what you want to get out of it. If you're a fan of space and Disney's, frankly, world-class immersion, then yeah, I think it's worth it to try it at least once. If not once a year, maybe, or every time they update something on the menu. It's not something I would do every time I come to Epcot, or even every time if I was not a local that I vacation to Disney World. I don't think that I would find myself there that often. And honestly, even if the food isn't the highlight, if you're a picky eater, you know, I had a friend who told me that this wouldn't be a good restaurant for them because they're too much of a picky eater. The experience itself makes up for it. And don't get me wrong, the food was amazing. It is not bad quality food at all, not in the slightest. You know, if you're just here for the food though, or you're trying to stay on a budget, there are plenty of other options in Epcot that would be much better for you. That would probably cost a third of what you would spend at Space 220, and you would still get food that is just as quality or just very close to it for the price. Like I said, food was absolutely amazing. Was $250 amazing? No, I would not go to a restaurant and spend $250 and expect to get that quality food. I used to go to a steakhouse back home, and they would have Wagyu tomahawk steaks. And I think for, you know, a large one that you could share with a party of two plus appetizers and drinks, I spent around $300. While there was Wagyu in the Carpaccio, the filet, the salmon, that's not Wagyu tomahawks. That's not worth the same. So it's clear where the money that you're spending is going. It's going into the experience itself. So what do you think? Would you blast off into space at Space 220 in 2025 and beyond? Or is it something that you would skip? Would you go somewhere else if you're going to spend that much? And if you were planning to spend $250, $300 at Disney World at a restaurant and you could pick anyone you want and it's not Space 220, which one would it be? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe, because there is plenty more theme park content on the way. I have a massive backlog that I'm working on. So many different restaurants and events coming your way. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. Coming up next is some Mardi Gras themed content at Universal Studios. We're doing a lot with Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios, Florida. We're heading back to Disney World real soon for some more dining experience reviews. So make sure you stick around. And as the winter comes to a close, if you want to see what the holidays were like at Universal Studios, you can go ahead and click this video right here. And if you want to see a video that YouTube recommends specifically for you, yes, you can go ahead and click on this video right over here. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in the park real soon.
Yeah. Falling into love hurts just as much as falling out of it. But I'll scrape my knees and scar my shins. I hope you never doubted that I'm down for you. Wanna hit the town, make it loud, be a clown.